You ever just want to sit down, relax, and disappear into a game that feels like a warm blanket? That's exactly what this list is. 10 cozy games on Switch and Switch 2 that hit a perfect 10 out of 10. No stress, just vibes. Let's get into it. Spiritfarer. You play as Stella, a young ferry master who takes over from the mythological Charon and sails the seas, guiding spirits to the afterlife. Along the way, you build and expand your boat, farming, cooking, weaving, crafting, and fishing to keep your spirit passengers happy. Each spirit you take on board is a character with their own story and their own emotional arc, and you pour time into building real relationships with all of them before the inevitable goodbye. The gameplay loop is incredibly relaxed. There's no pressure, no punishment, just you sailing, doing chores, and hugging your passengers. And those hugs, they're a fully animated mechanic. The whole thing is built on the director's actual research at end-of-life care facilities, and that honesty shows in every conversation. It's going to make you cry, multiple times. Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar. This one's a remake of the old DS classic, landed on Switch and Switch 2 in 2025, and it is absolutely the freshest take on the farming sim genre in years. You move to Zephyrtown, a little windswept place whose famous weekly bazaar has basically died out, and your whole goal is to bring it back. 6 days a week, you're doing classic farming sim stuff, growing crops, raising animals, mining ore, foraging, fishing. But every Saturday, you pack up your best goods and run your own market stall in real time, ringing a bell to pull in customers, managing sales on the fly, and leveling up the bazaar to attract new vendors and unlock more of the town. The wind is actually a core mechanic here. There are windmills you use for crafting, and the windier the day, the faster they churn. You also get a glider early on that lets you ride the breeze across town. Super Mario RPG. The story kicks off with Bowser kidnapping Peach, totally normal, but then a villain named Smithy crashes his floating castle, scatters the 7 star pieces across the world, and suddenly Mario, Peach, and even Bowser have to team up with a mysterious puppet named Geno and a living marshmallow called Mallow to save everything. The combat is turn-based, but with a twist. Every attack and every block involves timed button presses that deal bonus damage or reduce hits taken. Nail the timing perfectly, and you trigger splash damage that hits every enemy at once. The triple attacks you can pull off with your party are flashy and satisfying. The whole game has this goofy, weird, off-brand Mario energy that nothing else in the franchise has matched since. Coffee Talk. You play as a barista running a late-night coffee shop, and every night, different characters come in with stories to tell. Your job? Listen and brew them the right drink. That's the core mechanic. You combine ingredients like milk, coffee, espresso, matcha, and more to create the drink each customer actually needs, not always what they ask for. Getting it right shapes how their story unfolds. Getting it wrong nudges things in a different direction. There are multiple endings, and the drinks you serve quietly steer the narrative without you realizing it at first. There's also a latte art minigame that is weirdly addictive. The pixel art has this warm, 90s anime aesthetic, the lo-fi soundtrack is perfect for nighttime gaming, and the stories touch on things like racism, creative burnout, and relationships in ways that feel real without being heavy-handed. Snufkin, Melody of Moominvalley, a wandering musician and the best friend of Moomintroll. You return to Moominvalley for spring, but things are wrong. An authoritarian parkkeeper has covered the valley with manicured parks full of signs and rules, and Moomintroll has gone missing. The gameplay is an open-world adventure with a strong emphasis on exploration and a light touch of stealth. To dismantle the parks, you sneak past patrolling police officers, dodge their line of sight, and pull up signs and knock down statues to restore the natural landscape. Your main tools are musical instruments, a harmonica, a flute, and a drum, each of which interacts with the environment differently. Play the flute to charm animals, bang the drum to shake obstacles loose, and use your harmonica to open paths. GRIS doesn't have a single word of dialogue. There's no text, no tutorial, no explanation. You just start as a young girl falling into a colorless world, and from there, you follow her. The game is built around the 5 stages of grief, and each chapter represents one of them visually. The world literally gains color as you progress, going from gray to red to green to blue until the whole palette is restored. Each new color also unlocks a new ability. Your dress becomes a heavy block that shields you from wind. You gain a double jump. Eventually, you can sing to activate dormant parts of the world. The puzzles are light, the platforming is forgiving, and you cannot die. What the game is actually doing is using movement, color, music, and animation to walk you through something emotionally heavy in a way that doesn't need words. A short hike is exactly what it sounds like. You play as Claire, a little bird on vacation at a national park on a fictional island. She needs to get to the top of Hawk Peak Mountain to get cell signal for a phone call she's been waiting on. That's the whole premise. The mountain is small, the map is small, and the game is short. But every single inch of it is filled with something. Side quests, fishing, helping strangers, racing birds, collecting golden feathers that let you jump and glide higher. The gameplay is immediately satisfying. The controls feel good the second you pick it up, and climbing and gliding around the island has this weightless, joyful quality that makes exploration feel like a reward in itself. You can finish the main hike in under 2 hours, but you'll keep playing because everything on the island is just pleasant to interact with. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. You move to a deserted island with a couple of raccoons running a tent and tools operation, and from there, you build a life. You chop wood, catch fish, catch bugs, dig fossils, plant flowers, donate to a museum, terraform the landscape, design your home, and slowly develop relationships with a rotating cast of animal villagers, who each have their own personality. The game runs on real time. Your island reflects whatever season and time of day it actually is when you're playing. There's no real end goal, no fail state. You wake up, see what's new on your island, check what your neighbors are up to, and just exist in it. The satisfaction comes from seeing your island transform over weeks and months from a bare patch of land into something that genuinely feels like yours. Stardew Valley starts with your character quitting a corporate job and inheriting a rundown farm from their grandfather. You move to Pelican Town, and from there, it's all yours. You farm, mine, fish, forage, craft, cook, and build relationships with the whole town. There are 12 marriage candidates and dozens of characters who all have their own schedules, stories, and personal arcs that unlock as you get closer to them. The mine goes deeper and darker the further you go, with different enemies and resources at each level. And it transitions the game from purely cozy to a light action RPG whenever you descend. The farming loop is genuinely satisfying. Watering crops, upgrading tools, setting up sprinklers, expanding the farm. The game has been updated for years with new content, and it now supports multiplayer for up to 4 players on Switch. Pokemon Pokopia is a life sim crafting game built by Game Freak and Koei Tecmo's Omega Force, the team behind Dragon Quest Builders 2. And it is the Pokemon game fans didn't know they needed. You play as a Ditto who wakes up in a ruined, post-apocalyptic version of Kanto. Humans are gone. Pokemon are scattered and struggling. Ditto transforms into a human form to start rebuilding. You gather materials, craft furniture and tools, build homes for Pokemon, grow food, and slowly attract more and more Pokemon to your growing world. The mechanic that makes it sing is that Ditto can copy moves from the Pokemon it befriends. So Bulbasaur teaches you leafage to grow plants, Squirtle teaches Water Gun to revive dried streams, and so on. The world is huge. Beaches, caves, mountains, ruins, and each biome has its own Pokemon, its own requirements, and its own little story to uncover. 10 games, 0 stress, all worth your time. Drop in the comments which one you're playing or which one you want to try first. If this helped you find your next cozy obsession, hit that like button and I'll see you in the next one.